Welcome back. Can I just ask you about that? The Firearms Act. I mean, it's not been controlled well enough, surely.
I think it is. I think that...
Well, what do you say about Mr. Arendse's point?
Well, if you look at the legislation, it's very strict. Getting a handgun license is quite difficult. The competency process is being applied. I see many refusals where people are refusing.
You just admitted that there was one where somebody shouldn't have gotten a celebrated case. And there are many more like that.
He didn't... The law was not applied to Oscar Pistorius.
Yes,
and
but Oscar Pistorius cannot be the only... He's high profile, but it's not the only... It's not the only case. Come.
There are question marks about the way that he was treated in particular. But the Firearms Control Act has a very strict framework. And you have to look at it as a totality, because it deals with legal possession and illegal possession.
So what do you say about Adele Kirstein's point that 18,000 legal firearms are stolen, and that therefore the more that you put on the market, the more that will be stolen?
I say that there was a criminal who stole the firearm in the first place. Yes, why aren't we prosecuting the criminals?
No, we should prosecute the criminals.
If we prosecute criminals and put them in jail, we won't have this problem. Our problem is that crime is endemic in our society. It's embedded in the fabric of our society.
We should be embedded in what way?
It's embedded because we tolerate crime. It's an offence to know that someone possesses an unlicensed firearm. It's an offence. If I know you have an unlicensed firearm, I have an obligation to report it to the police. Does that ever happen? No, because we have entire communities that live off the proceeds of crime. That's where we need to focus our efforts. Let's get rid of the illegal firearms first. You'll see dramatic changes in society.
How are we going to get rid of these illegal firearms?
Better enforcement, better trained police, more stricter...
Do you accept that we should have a stricter implementation of the Firearms Control Act?
The mechanisms are in the legislation already. Illegal possession is illegal possession.
Yes, I know that, but I'm saying, can we slow down the flow of firearms? Should we not be doing that? Are there not too many guns in our country?
No, because we need to take the criminals. We need to take the criminals out of society.
Yes, but criminals have to have guns. That's her point.
If they don't have firearms, they'll still be criminals and commit violence.
But I'll tell you one thing, I'd rather have a criminal without the firearm than one with a firearm. But yeah.
So you have to stop the flow. But I would
disagree.
But he
says that the act is there. It's
the act is there.
He agrees with you,
but we know over the last 3 years, the head of the CFR and her 2IC was suspended a year ago on grounds of alleged corruption. We have firearm dealers, as well as senior police officers who are under investigation for corruption and fraudulent behaviour. So we have all along the firearms control management chain a whole lot of corruption.
That doesn't mean changing the law. That means ensuring getting more honest people. That means actually having people running the police who know what they're doing, is what Barney's saying.
Exactly. So all of the things I've been saying is the law is good. It's being poorly implemented right now. There's always opportunity to strengthen, and I think there's an amendment coming before us, and we need to look at where's the evidence where the problems are. But right now, the Act gives the Minister the power to declare an amnesty. It gives the police powers for search and seizure. So the Act is there. We've got what we need in order to do it. You have to mop up the illegals and you have to stop the source. You have to turn off the tap.
I got you.
And the easiest way to turn off the tap is to significantly reduce access to handguns. It's simple.
Well, it may be, but could I? He's going to disagree, and I don't have time to. Norman, when you go and talk to the Minister of Police, etc., what are you going to be telling them? Are you going to be telling them, look, you guys aren't enforcing the law well enough. You've got to get your act together.
Well, I think firstly we should inquire into whether or not the law is being enforced.
Well, probably it's not.
Whether the designated officers are doing their jobs. And I think one of the aims of the campaign will be to ask Parliament to amend the law for lawful gun owners, especially handgun owners, to return their guns so that they can resubmit to competency tests. Because I think one of the flaws in the Firearm Controls Act is that when you are given a license to hold a firearm, you hold that license, until you die or until your gun is stolen. I think like a motor car license or a driver's license, I think there should be a 5-10 year period. Because I think the biggest problem with legal guns
I got you. I'm so sorry that I'm...
The biggest problem with legal guns is that people, all of us, go through emotional
I have
periods,
the point. I have the point, and I want to put the
periods of irrational behavior.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
And that is when they use the guns to kill each other.
So how do you respond to that? Why, if I have
first of all, there's no evidence that people get stressed and suddenly
no, hang on a minute. If I have to have a driver's license test every number of years, why should I not? Isn't he right?
No, Norman's wrong. The law is very clear. All of our licenses expire. They have to be renewed.
And how long have you got?
Self-defense is 5 years. Other types of firearms vary
and
between
are they
2
being renewed?
10 years.
Yes,
they are being renewed. I've just renewed my self-defense license.
So what do you say to his proposal that, in fact, everybody should...
No, but that's there in the law already. You have to be periodically tested to become become competent again.
So let me ask you this finally, in an appropriate way, I think, to end this program. I mean, one of the things that he was talking about, Norman was talking about, was this issue of the community. How do we get the community to be involved? Because leave aside the police. People know that other people have got guns. Yeah. How do they come forward and say, I know that Davis there has got a gun and it's illegal, or etc.? How do we get the community to take hold of this?
But I mean, if you go to the police, with that kind of information, the people are going to come for you, and the police won't be there to defend you.
You mean it's a catch-22?
Yes.
Or the police are part of the gang.
The point I think actually what we need is what is lacking in our political culture, and it's accountability. It's actually the people must make sure that the government is actually accountable for its actions. And I think unless there is actually a kind of a groundswell from the people themselves and to force government to actually take certain actions.
But what you're saying is scary, because if that's correct, your line of argument, then it means that to a large degree you'll never get the community to own the problem, because they'll be too scared to actually report on neighbours who may well have illegal firearms, because in fact if they tell the police, those people may turn on them.
Yes. Yes, but that's true. But what I'm actually trying to say is political accountability goes right across all, not just crime, not just about crime. Actually, it goes right into the way that we actually elect our leaders. That how do we hold them accountable?
Barney, I wish I could debate that with you now, but I can't, because I've run out of time. But I do hope that in some way this program has just given, even as a snatch, of the complexity and the difficulties involved. The real question is, crime is excessive in this country. It's destroying the majestic promises that we had, which we gave ourselves in our Constitution, for a society based on dignity, equality and freedom. You can't have them if you have this kind of level of crime. And how do we actually get out of the problem? Well, much of the issue has really revolved around policing, accountability and the enforcement of laws, which we already have. The laws may be tweaked, but unless you enforce them, well, you're not going to get anywhere. And how do we do that? Judge for yourself. Goodbye.